All right, Psalm 88, let's call this one Steadfast Love and Faithfulness, Lost in the Pack, in this Psalm of the sons of Korah that begins in verse 1. Day and night I ask you to incline your ear to me. Once again, the psalmist realizing he is not entitled to a hearing before God, but he is going to say he is calling out to God, for his soul is full of troubles, near to Sheol. Feels like he is one who has gone down to the pit. He has no strength. Feels like he is similar to one who is among the dead, in the grave, like those forgotten. He's going to say, it seems that God has been the one to put him in the pit, and that God's wrath is heavy upon him as it overwhelms him. As he will go on to say that God has caused his friends or his companions to shun him, as he is going to go on to ask in about verse 11, is your steadfast love declared in the grave, your faithfulness in Abaddon? Thus our title combining the terms steadfast love and faithfulness. This time they're combined in a very distressing way, as the psalmist will go on to ask why God seems to cast his soul away, as he will conclude by saying that his only companion seems to be the darkness that surrounds him. This psalm reminded me so much of the Numbers 16 story of the sons of Korah and how they were taken into Hades alive as God opened the ground up as a penalty for their rebellion against the instructions that God had given through Moses. And so this psalm, even though it may have nothing to do with the way in which the sons of Korah were taken down alive into Hades, seems super reminiscent of one who could literally speak from the perspective of having been consumed alive in Hades. Reminding me of one of the first principles that God set out through Moses in Exodus 23, round about verse 2, where it says, you shall not fall in with the many to do evil, nor shall you bear witness in a lawsuit, siding with the many so as to pervert justice. Understanding that the sons of Korah were taken alive into Sheol because of the ways that they banded together to commit an injustice against Moses, this psalm seems to be an ominous warning of the ways in which a man partnered in committing a sin against Moses, only to be left to suffer the consequences of his sin alone. Which is why we sometimes say God's best to you as you go forward in him, understanding that God does not have to open up the ground to show us ways in which we can be tempted to sin together, only to suffer the consequences alone.